All right, you divine lions and lionesses, let me ask you, what if the future of wellness has already arrived? And tonight, the entire world is getting its first real look. From the creator of Plandemic and The Great Awakening, Mikki Willis unveils the code of creation in Beverly Hills in a matter of hours as X39, Cellergize, and LifeWave's X20 Water Machine is igniting a surge of global attention. Its patented technology, Star Trek-like, in our life right now with a massive rising demand. It's a shift you can feel. So is this the moment everything changes, or the moment you finally see it yourself in your community? Welcome to this Warriors of Wellness with myself, Barry and Connie Lucas, who are right now in Hollywood about to sit down for the film, but have joined me right beforehand to share some of the experiences, their wisdom, and incredible stories, which I feel are going to ignite humanity. Cutting edge guests, awesome, uncensored, jaw-dropping information, plus funny memes, good deeds, and loads of laughter. Kind of have it all. Ladies and gentlemen, if your soul's awake, then welcome, because you're in the right place.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. There is more information there than most people would ever realize. I was 8 years old, and my parents wanted to take me to the workshop of Thomas Edison. On the drive back home, I said to my dad, I want to be an inventor. Light, as it turns out, is the primary control mechanism for everything else that happens in the body. What if we could have an external electromagnetic field that would essentially reset the stem cells that are already in our bodies and get them to function like younger, healthier cells? What if in the process we actually found out that in a book that was written thousands of years ago, that information already existed? God has left his fingerprint in natural design, and that blueprint shows up in nature. The mathematical codes are identical. The implications to this are absolutely extraordinary. What drives me is that there's this enormous sense of hope that we can create technology to generate clean energy, that we can have foods that aren't genetically modified, and we can meet all of the needs on the planet that we have to, and that we can heal people.
All right, here we are, everybody. Welcome back to Warriors of Wellness Sovereign Soul Show. Here once again, it's been a while, been a minute to have the divine masculine, feminine Connie Lucas, Barry Lucas from their lovely home, just about to enjoy the X20 Water film. Well, it's really the code of creation brought to us by Mikki Willis with Greg Braden and David Schmidt, America's most prolific inventor of our time at this moment with 200 patents registered to that man's name, heading up LifeWave. How are you guys doing? And thanks for being here once again.
Great. Thank you, Brad.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Okay, the last time we were all together, we chatted about how you got introduced to LifeWave and X39. Now, since that time, of course, we have Cellergize. We'll be talking about that, why it won the Stem Cell Innovation of the Year award, BIOTECH, just 5 months ago. Beat out all the big pharma companies, the biotech companies, spent hundreds of millions of billions of dollars. And they're like, yeah, here's this little non-invasive patch. This sticker that you put on your body reflects light back into it. Amazing. We'll get to that. But what was it about you two guys, serial entrepreneurs, your own businesses, which attracted you to LifeWave and X39? And I know, if I recall correctly, it precipitated a direct meeting with David Schmidt. And I feel it was Connie, like, are you really, like, is this real deal? And you kind of had to sit down with them. So please go ahead, guys.
Well, I think, a lot of it was the result I got from a wound I had. I mean, just doing something not real bright. And I ended up with a pretty good little injury and the healing process that happened from that. I didn't even realize, be honest with you. I was just like, I'm healing real good. And Connie saw it and she said, that's amazing. That's what they said it would do. And I said, wait a minute, what's that and who's they?
Yeah.
And then she said, the patch you've been wearing. She goes, that's amazing because it was a little tiny scar in 7 days. And so Connie says, that's really interesting. And she said, I want to start wearing them. And I said, we need to look into that. And then the talk went further and further. And we decided to try to go meet David Smith. He was in California at that time. And we took a trip over.
Yeah, it was early 2020, and so it was literally 2 weeks before the pandemic shut everything down. And fortunately, we did get invited over, and we spent the weekend with him, just asking questions, really seeing who he was. And it's really important when you're looking at a company, particularly if you're going to look to go into business, with that company, and you're going to, put your heart and soul into something. It wasn't just like, oh, we want to buy this technology or use this product. It was, who is this person and what are they about? And we really walked away realizing that, David was just the real deal. He was genuine, he was humble, he had this vision of really changing the world. I mean, really profoundly changing the world. And, that he had, a lot of times people come in and they're like, oh, why network marketing? And he just realized that grassroots, person to person, was going to be the best way for people to learn about this technology. And so, of course, I'm into the science. I was into all the questions around this and the company and different things. But Barry just literally, when we left, he was just like, drop everything else you're doing.
Yeah, when I saw David's vision for the future
Yeah.
and the products he talked about coming out, and that's what a good company does. They introduce new products, but most of these companies, they'll bring on the products and everything they have, they're going to put it out all at once and try to make as much money as they can. They have no future in longevity. They're not looking down for the long term. After talking to David for 2 days, I could see he had a long-term vision. And that's why that meeting, he talked about the X20 Water Machine. That was 6 years ago.
Right.
So for 6 years, he worked on, getting everything right, but more importantly, releasing it at the right time. And he's got a plan for the next, I don't know how many years,
Yeah, I don't
probably
know.
20 at least years of products to come out that are novel. And I think that's the key for me as a business. His products, everything we have is novel. And that is, that says something to David and being an inventor. And, we have things that nobody else can touch.
Yeah. And I think it's important to know too that it's a privately held company, and it will be. It will be his children's legacy. It is a privately held company. And our friend Gregory, who I know you had on recently,
Yeah.
he talked about, there's stockholders and stakeholders. Well, there aren't any stockholders, but they're all stakeholders, and we're the stakeholders. Those of us who have poured our hearts and soul into his mission, into sharing, and basically, really our job is just to kind of be a tour guide to, who's looking for what we have. That's what you do on your show. You're not out there going, get this, get this, get this. You're like, hey, this is really cool. And you're letting somebody know that there's something that exists that they didn't know existed. Right. And then you're walking them down the path of getting enough information to make a decision for themselves. Is this something that's going to add value to their life? Do they see the value in it? That's really what we did. So knowing that it was a privately held company, knowing that he wanted to create a company that was a legacy company that could be passed down from generation to generation, and knowing with, you said 200 patents, I mean, he got his 201st earlier this year. And so,
No wonder.
knowing that these patents, and when we met him, oh my gosh, he had, I think, 80
Uh,
79 or 80 when we met him. So isn't that insane? I mean, so he was, talking about his uncle who was a very prolific inventor and had, I think, 150 patents. And so, he's comes from this through his whole life. This has kind of been his mission, his purpose, the humanitarian side of him. Those were things that were really important to us if we were going to invest our time, energy, and our reputation, into a company.
No, it's really amazing about that for a couple of things. David Spock College, that was his nickname. He's been inspired by Star Trek and he's literally living it as far as I'm concerned. And we'll talk more about the X20 Water Machine and the code of creation a little bit later on the show. Because, I mean, again, you had the US Patent Office, I just found out, had to create a new division for the 20 patents they gave to the machine. I mean, incredible. Wow. And the other fact I find fascinating, the two of you have brick and mortar businesses, right? And you're all in now on LifeWave. And my audience heard, I keep saying, to me, this is like a second lease on life from the experiences I've had with the technologies. But from your standpoints, what is it that drove the two of you, both with your own independent brick and mortar businesses, to really kind of go, after a few years ago, we're all in on this now? And what
I could probably speak to that because we had been in this industry before, and that's why people were approaching Connie all the time and myself with new products, and we were just bombarded with everything. So when she said that I told her drop everything else, what I meant was that big hunk of different type of powders and juices and minerals and everything else you could imagine, supplements. And I said, drop everything. This is the company you want to be with. I said, you can concentrate on that. I'm still going to work our other brick and mortar, and I still am. And Connie worked to the point where she got so busy with this, she decided, and we decided together, that she was going to make a full-time career of this. Right. And it was 2 years ago at convention where I really had one foot in and the rest of my body out. I was supporting and trying to help, but I really wasn't. But when I went to the convention 2 years ago, and I saw David's vision for the future, and I looked around and saw what was going to be happening, and I saw there's going to be a lot more young people, and this is going to change the world soon. And if I don't get my, in gear. And so I put, we still have it's hard to walk away from our other business because it is so successful. And so was Connie's. But I am putting 70% of my time into LifeWave. 30% of my time goes to running that other business, because the potential for what LifeWave can become for us and the opportunity is nowhere near what I can do in my other business.
That's amazing. It has a global impact, absolute global impact. And, I can't stop. Compliance, watches the shows, Elena, hi. We all say hello to, we were talking about you guys earlier, watches the shows, but you can't stop people from putting their success stories, what they say in the chats, in the threads. Right. I got X30, and if anybody's hearing this for the first time, right, because I'm really grateful and blessed. So we have 28,000, or as of today, 29,000 new people in the last 4 months, right? X39, this sticker, I call it a sticker, right? The patch, wellness patch, size of a quarter, thin as a few hairs, got a little 3M adhesive, and you take it off, you put it typically on the C7. But it will work anywhere else. All the information's below liveyounger.com/Buddha. You can go, you can see studies, videos, whatnot, right? Because it's about activating copper peptides, GHKCU. People can go look at half a century of research on the power of what happens when you activate your copper peptides. And people are like, copper peptides, Brad, what are you talking about? Remember the 80s, the infomercials of the golf bracelet, the bracelets, right? Suzanne Summers was doing, the machine, right? And everybody's watching those for a good reason, because it's Suzanne, it's Chrissy from Three's Company, baby. And I can go back there with all the ones, right? The Gilligan's Island, you name it, And, but yeah, people are like, man, I had arthritis and I put this thing on, my golf swing improved and I have no more pain. What we found from copper, the conductivity, is it helps with copper peptides. And when this patch actually used your biophotonic light, we give off light. You can see it, aura photography, light in every living creature, plant, you name it. Then it sends that frequency back to you, activates your peptides, and amazing things happen. The most powerful, typical, we get our sleep better, you have more energy. You guys have been around for a lot longer than I have. You can talk more about that as you choose and we go through here. But it's truly remarkable. To me, again, game changer for the planet. Second lease on life. That's what I'm saying. Elena, Julia, to me, it's been a second lease on life for me, and I'll leave it at that. You guys.
You're cracking me up.
Hi, Meredith.
We really, I mean, truly, Brad, you do a great job, and everybody, I mean, we as a team, when it's really about the wellness industry, we are a wellness technology. We are not a medical device, nor does David or any of us have any intention of wanting this to be a medical device. This is a wellness technology, and the world we live in lives in a place where, as a wellness technology, we can't treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent anything. And so it really is, it's one of those things of put it on, see what it does to you. We have a doctor, Dr. Kathy Wong's one of the doctors on our team. We have a lot of practitioners on our team. And she came up with the phrase, you can't pick the fix. And that's just really what it is. This is communication for the body. So I think if you think about it, it's so cool. You talked about the photons and the light. We're the battery. We turn it on, right? If it gets within our light, our body's infrared light, it's activated, sending a low frequency light into the body, and each patch is engineered to do something different, right? So as the X39, it is engineered so that the body will help produce GHK copper peptide, which when we were researching it, we went to PubMed.gov and I started looking all over the place, and I'm like, oh, Lauren Picard, this guy's got 40 plus years of research. He is the scientist that discovered that peptide over 40 years ago. And I started looking at what does this do, right? And then we were pretty good at it. I was smart enough to connect the dots.
She was smart enough to connect the dots.
And so if you look at that we turn this on, and this is about coherence. This is about cell-to-cell communication, the body being able to, one of the neurologists on our team, Dr. Tom Ackland, he talks about a lot that so many times our body doesn't have the ability to speak the truth anymore. It doesn't have the ability to handle everything that's coming at it, all the damage, everything that's started to happen. And this gives the body the place and the coherence that the body starts to communicate again, what the body needs. So that's why we say you can't pick the fix. Don't come in and go, oh, I want my shoulder fixed, or oh, I want this fixed. No, put it on and see what happens. For me, it was very different experience from Barry. I was postmenopausal. I wore the patch, and that first night, I got deep, deep, deep sleep. And then I started in a couple weeks noticing I'm recovering quicker from workouts. Like, I'm not getting sore after my workouts. What's going on here? And each thing started to change. And here we are over 6 years later, where it's such an incredible total well-being. And I just have to tell you, this sounds terrible, but I'm shocked when I run into friends, or I just ran into a lady today at the gym that, has never been interested in the things that we like to do. And I thought, this can't be that person. And she looked 25 years older than me. 25 years older. And so it's really about putting yourself in a place with just optimal health and wellness.
And from what Connie was saying about my experience, if I hadn't have wounded myself, literally hurt myself almost on purpose, we would have never known, because she wasn't wearing the patch.
True.
And I would have just gone on thinking it was just all about me. But Connie saw it and pointed it out. And as she said about Dr. Kathy, you can't pick the fix. So it was working, and working amazingly well, and I wouldn't even have known it. And that happens to a lot of people, especially if they are not told what the possibilities could do. Sleep is a big one, as we know, because a lot of people get the patch, and you probably know, and Connie is, we've had it over and over again, how I haven't slept like that in years.
Yeah. And they're wearing it during the day. That's the other amazing thing, because it's a bang energy. and you're wearing it during the day. Okay, there's a story that you guys have, a bunch of doctors. It was kind of like a convention, and you're handing out the patch. And I like it because, the women are much more intuitive than guys. We're more like stubborn. And you were saying, just try one. Here, try one, see how it is. And then the next day, there was a huge lineup. You want to talk about that? Just to
Well, we were actually going the last day to break down the booth we had.
yeah.
And we went down there and didn't really expect anything. People were still there. The meeting went on till noon, but it was more or less over.
And this is a doctor's convention. So you actually have
This is all
medical
professionals.
professionals, not light workers, not us Reiki masters and all these, what we might consider woo-woo. You're like MD professionals, right? Okay.
And we were brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, this is in the very beginning. We were only in for a year.
Couple
For me,
of
it
years.
was brand new.
We were in a couple of years. We
Yeah, yeah.
actually
That's
we
foot out,
actually did-
foot in, body
this was
out.
with this was actually with Michael Jaco.
Yeah.
And one of his brand partners got the opportunity to go to this conference. This conference was medical practitioners, health practitioners who were looking for two things. One, additional streams of revenue in their practices, because we know that, a lot of them are struggling. But two, they were looking at alternatives. What could they bring in that could enhance the outcomes for their patients, right? And so we were patching them through every day. They could come down and get a patch. And so it was that last day
So Connie's signing them up, and she says, "Why don't you go tell them what they need to sign up?" Because she's the one signing up. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she goes, "Get their information, find out why they worked, and find out, do they want to sign up for the patches?" Well, I start going down the line asking, and one right after another. I haven't slept that way in 10 to 15 years. I haven't slept that way in 20 years. We kept hearing that. And I get down the line. I'm like, there's 95% of these people, but they just kept lining up. And now I'm panicking. So I'm texting everybody there. We need help. We've got like 18 people in line. And Connie's sitting there by herself trying to fill out the paperwork. So it was just one of those situations that you're like, wow.
Yeah.
What have we got?
That's an overnight. That's an effect that you can't manufacture. Many people like me, I'm a one patch wonder, we call them, right? Or one drink wonders now at X20 for many, and others aren't. A few are, but that's incredible.
I think people are really, David was just so ahead of his time with phototherapy and his research and everything. So ahead of his time, where there were only a select few people who really understood light, and the fact that light has a biochemical, result in the body. I mean, it's super easy to see. You go out in the sun hits the skin, it helps your body produce vitamin D.
In the beginning, God created intelligent design. So this tells us that the universe is not random, that life was designed and created. It didn't just spontaneously occur. As a matter of fact, if you use an AI program, Grok 4, ChatGPT, and you were to ask AI, what are the odds that life originated through abiogenesis? It would be 1 times 10 to the 200th power. So to put that into perspective, those would be the same odds of finding a single grain of sand on every beach in the world and picking that exact grain of sand the first time you try. Those are the odds of life just spontaneously originating out of nothing. So, in other words, we can observe intelligent design in nature, and we can witness this as God's creation.
Right? Does the same thing as you get a tan with the melanin. So light has biochemical responses in the body, and now people are more open to it. People have seen red light. They've seen this or that, right? They're a little more open to light as, how the body responds to light. David was just so far ahead of his time. So you take the patch and you take the fact that this super crazy affordable technology that's simple, effective, easy to use. You put, like you said, you take the patch, you put it on, you wear it for 12 hours, stay well hydrated, take it off, leave it off for 12 hours so your body doesn't ignore the signal. Next day, put a new one back on. I mean, it's absolutely that
Forget it.
simple. And I think the fact that it's simple and affordable, sometimes people think, well, that can't be real.
Yeah.
Right. But when we met David all those years ago, one of the things that really stuck with us is he said when he first was getting ready, because the company is 21 years old in our 22nd year now. And so he had other technologies. But when X39 came out, his brand partners were seeing such profound results. And they were saying, oh my gosh, you can sell that patch for this amount of money and that amount of money because people are like, this is priceless. And David said, no, I want it to be affordable. So he priced this at wholesale at $99.95, and he has never raised the price. Think of one thing
That's crazy.
through the pandemic. Think of one thing that hasn't gone up in price. And David has never read the price because he really has a mission and vision to get this into 1 billion homes, to really help change families' lives and people's lives. So I think that speaks a lot. And then it rolls, we have other technologies and we roll into Cellergize.
Right. And I definitely want to get there. I just want to make a point. $99 for this, like, it's still crazy, right? Like just a meal. I had to go to Whistler, BC a couple of weeks ago. And I'm there. And just a meal was $42. And I got 2 eggs, some potatoes, and a coffee. 42 in Whistler. I'm like, this is insane. This is $99 for an entire 1 month supply of these little stickers. I just bounced this guy on, right? And 100% money back guarantee. And then you have all phone, chat, Zoom support, whatnot. Like, it's incredible. And it ships to 85 countries around the world. And if you're in Australia, it'll ship to you out of South Korea. If you're in Mexico, you can get it in Mexico, all across North America and parts of Europe. It's incredible. So yeah, I just wanted, before we talk about the BIOTECH Stem Cell Innovation of the Year Award, Cellergize, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, it's amazing, freaking amazing.
Oh, do you want me to, do you got a slide on?
Slides dropping in right now. Exactly. On BIOTECH Stem Cell Innovation of the Year Award. So one thing, everybody that have been here on Sovereign Soul Show for the last 2.5 years and watched, we've had to curtail some of the things that we've said because this company, and again, is dark forces, coined the phrase from David. Dark forces did not want the X20 Water Machine to come out, and dark forces are still attacking these wellness patches, X39, X49, etc., right? So we have to be very, very cautious now, even more so in what we say based on new guidelines that have come out. And we're hoping, Secretary Kennedy, you're going to be helping us with this toward the latter part of the year. But what we can tell you is this is what we're going to be talking about now, Cellergize, which is another game changer for hydration before the X20 and now works synergistically with. Like, you too have had X20. You too were help bring Cellergize forward to the masses and our ambassadors for the company. So please go ahead. You can talk about it a lot better than I can in the X.
Well, I would say, it really came about when so the award was BIOTECH Breakthrough. And in BIOTECH Breakthrough, when you start going down and looking at the thousands of biotech companies that submitted their products for this award, you are seeing medical companies. You are seeing mostly biotech companies. Like, that is what is in this list. And many that we knew of, personally. And the award we got.
Doctors that were involved with some of those.
Yeah, we knew some of the doctors that were involved and had their stuff up, and they didn't get even some of the awards that we had, some of these companies. And what we saw, it's a combination. We submitted a combination of X39 with Cellergize, and it won Stem Cell Innovation of the Year award in that combination. And so how do they work together? Each product works uniquely, right? But it's that piece of adding in, you still need, so X39 is sending a signal, right? It's sending a signal to your body. It's helping with that communication in the body, but you still need the building blocks. And because we know food is not what, what food can be, because we know it's hard to get even all your minerals, all your nutrition, even if you have a highly varied whole food diet, there can be gaps. And so David went and worked with a team to put together a formulation day and evening that would give you the minerals and the building blocks of nutrition that you would need that would help enhance the technologies. So Cellergize helps to enhance the outcome of the all the patch technologies, specifically engineered for X39, but all of them. So there's a day formula, and then the evening formula. I mean, we love it. I mean, that's just another way too. If you're struggling with sleep and rest and relaxation and calming the mind and many of those things, you've got the evening as well that just makes a night and day difference of how we sleep. In fact, I didn't take mine last night. He did, and I said, "Yeah, I didn't." I woke up multiple times a night. Normally, with the combination. I'm sleeping like I did when I was young.
Yeah, and I don't start my day. I don't do anything else. I get up, I go
Mhm.
straight for the Cellergize. I don't look at my phone. I don't open up anything on my iPad. I don't do any work. I don't even feed the dog. I have my Cellergize first.
Yep.
And what Connie's talking about, and you were alluding to earlier, when you see that award and you go through that award and you look what they did, it's just another opportunity to look at a business that this are their accomplishments at this point in their career. It's just going to keep building and building and building. From a business standpoint, when you were asking about that, this company is so solid. There's so many things that are going to come in the future that people are going to be wowed by. And it just, again, it screams opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've been fortunate as we roll into the next phase of LifeWave is the energized or light enhanced water technology of X2O. So we've been fortunate enough to be one of the first to when to beta test it and get the machine. So we've had it since September. I, as Barry says, we take our water, we add our Cellergize in it. That is what we have first thing in the morning before we do anything else. The water machine for us, the water machine isn't meant to travel. And so we do travel quite a bit. And there is a definite difference when we're traveling and don't have access to the water versus when we're home and have consistent access to the water. When we also were fortunate enough with Michael and Tracy Ojeko, we were fortunate enough to be one of the first to get the water a couple of years ago when we were getting closer to rollout. And people were experiencing things within seconds. I mean, it was just across the board. And for me, it was energy. It was clearing, just that I could kind of feel it in my brain. It was a clearing of the fog in the brain, kind of alertness and energy. And I had one specific thing, maybe some of your viewers will get this, but I didn't tell anybody because I thought this is really weird and maybe I'm just imagining this. And so I didn't really say one of my results. And later we were out to dinner and there was a shaman who we had never met before. And he was there and he had the water and he's sitting there and he says, everybody's telling their experience at this big table we're at. And he goes, "I can feel the light coming out of my hands." And I go, "I can feel the light coming out of my hands." And I was like, that is nuts that you can feel the energy. You could just feel the energy. It was really interesting. And so Barry says, "I don't feel anything at all."
So we go get the water, and I'm with Michael and Connie, and everybody's telling me how great it is. And I'm like, well, don't say anything, Barry, because you're not Debbie Downer. And I'm just like, I don't get it. I'm not getting a thing. I'm sorry, guys. We walked away and finally goes, "What do you think?" I'm like, I got nothing. I got nothing. Well, rewind a little bit. The past 2 years before that, I had some severe concerning stomach issues, let's just say digestive issues. And I was very concerned. You know that old saying, I think Kennedy said it first, when you have your health, you have 1,000 wishes and dreams. And
Yep.
when you don't, you have one.
One. Yep.
That's all I was thinking about. I was worried, family history.
Mhm.
I just didn't even want to know what was going on. And, we got to have a glass each day of water. And first day I had my glass, I was like, no. Second day I had my glass, I got nothing still. But we went to lunch. And I'll let Connie finish the story, but I went to lunch, I went to the bathroom, and Connie, what did I say to you?
Because I goes, I know what the water's doing. Let's go get another glass of water.
And so literally, I drank that 3 glasses of water,
Yep.
and the issues I was having not just disappeared, they got better and better, and they have never come back.
And so you go, why is it? We're not making claims of healing, curing any kind of disease. We're saying we're getting hydration in at a cellular level. Like we're getting the hydration when we're using even you're getting your nutrition into the body, into a cellular level. You're getting light. This is the thing that sets it off. There's so many technologies out there that, okay, the hydrogen water is a big deal. Yep, we can check that box. We do that, right? With this water technology. We, alkaline. Yep, check that. Take out take out the toxins, the microplastics, all the things we have issues with. Check, we can check that box. So from a purity standard, there's 2 filtration systems, and we are just cleaning up the toxicity of our water. But the thing that sets us apart is the light infused water. The fact that we are delivering light into the cells
Yep.
within seconds. That's the thing that changes. So it's not about treating, curing this, that. It's about getting the body what it needs so the body can go do what the body knows how to do. That's the simplicity of it. So Barry turns to me, and my favorite part of the story really is this. He looks at me and he goes, at this point, we don't really know much about, like, we don't know what the cost is. We don't know a lot of these other things, right? And
I told her, I said, I don't care, because somebody mentioned that it's kind of bulky and it might not look good on their counter. And I said, I don't care if that thing is the size of a double-sided refrigerator and it costs $90,000. I am getting that water.
because I'll buy it tomorrow. And
Luckily, it's neither of them.
it's neither of those. It's very it's the same price that you're going to pay for an average water
That's
filtration technology,
Yep.
as well as it's a beautiful unit that sits on your countertop. And most people, if they have no idea what it is, they're going to be like, "Oh, you have a beautiful coffee maker." Like this.
Yeah. Well, what you just described, Connie, is here's an image. I shared this again with Gregory and I. For my Reiki level 1 attunement, I could start feeling the light coming out of my hands. And then 2, and then all those years later, when I felt I was right to become a Reiki master, then it goes from different places. So what you've just experienced is exactly what my experience was when I was attuned to Reiki level 1. And I haven't heard this story that you're sharing, which is truly remarkable, because we're beings of light. And if we can live light and we can drink light, then we are, as the slogan is right now in the company, being the light in our life. And we have a harmonic effect and a resonant vibration. Wherever you get around anything, if anybody's looking at tuning forks, right? If you have a low vibration tuning fork and a higher vibration, then that low vibration will immediately, when it gets in proximity with a higher tuning vibration, raise its vibrational level, and they will harmonize and synchronize with each other. So just imagine that effect, whether it starts with the X39 patch and you're leveraging with Cellergize, and then all of a sudden you start drinking a glass of light infused water. And it's just, there's no one point with David, the mission, the company, and what he's been able to achieve that gets me more awestruck than the other. What we have here is a biblically inspired water machine, because he said, he took the passage, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and he went, is there a frequency to that? And then he found the frequency 999-888-777, looked to nature, does that exist anywhere on God's earth? Found it in lobster blood, the frequency there, and went, is there something we can do? And as he described it, and paraphrasing everything for the show here, for the audience again, he was able, over the course of 10 years, and his first machine was 35 grand, and it was the side of a double sided fridge, right? It was 35 grand. He built this thing in his labs, and he created an element that's never existed before on the periodic table. There are 64,000 elements, as we know, as he's shared, that we know on Earth or in the universe, which have been registered and categorized and logged, and he created a new element. Then with that element, with frequency and water and using dual filtration, hydrogen enrichment as well, it takes out microplastics. I actually don't know any other water company, just from a filtration standpoint, that takes out microplastics from your tap water. People are typically going to use this with their tap water at the moment, but like, it blows you away. And then you create an element of water that has never existed before on Earth, which as an element, then it has to, in my opinion, be added to the periodic table. So there's 2 elements, 20 patents, all of this, and you're drinking 6-layered liquid light water. And just imagine what that does, everyone, if it goes down your throat, into your body over the course of 1 glass or 10 in the next 5 days. Is phenomenal. And that's why there's massive waiting list since we launched this last week. And Barry and Connie will tell them a little bit more, because you had a little bit more on the inside track at the level you're at. But like, breakfast time, the email comes out of the company, it's now ready to order. It's time, sold out. Sorry. Yeah. And we made, like, the Lucky brand partners smart. They ordered like 2 to 3, right away, because you don't want to wait 4 or 5 or 6 more months until it can become available.
Well, they are, they're manufacturing constantly. They've got a stream of them coming in. But definitely you want to get on there's no doubt you're ready to go. You want to get on the wait list for them, as they start to roll out. I mean, we did have people who called up and said, I was on the phone at this time and I got it, this and that. And their friend was calling. He goes, I told you, do it first thing at this time.
Yep. I was telling.
But everybody will get theirs, but get on that list for sure.
In a world thirsting for truth, one biblically inspired machine was forged from light itself. 1 glass, and your cells remember what it means to truly live. Supported by Brad Wozny, the X20 Water Machine sold out in 5 hours. A new era of hydration for the planet was born today. With 20 patents ton earth and multiple studies, enlightened water and elevated hydration helps your daily ritual be reborn as a divine experience. X20 is the biblically inspired light-activated water Earth has been waiting for. Watch the Sovereign Soul Show to get on the waiting list.
Until then, the starting point really still, the tip of the spear still is, for most people, is going to be X39. $99 a month, simple, affordable, effective, right? So that's the starting point. Then you might add in the Cellergize, up your nutrition, up the game there, nutritionally. And then if it's within, within your realm, then X20 takes it to the next level, and you have a complete and total wellness routine and system. It's unbelievable. So
Holy Trinity for LifeWave, I'm telling you, 39 Cellergize and the X20 as it comes about. Code of creation. Let's just take a moment, talk about that, because you guys very shortly, Gregory, say hi to Gregory too, are going to be hanging out and watching the premiere, walking the red carpet, Chinese theater, part of my old stomping ground back in the day. Why has already, it's been, just so everybody knows, it's at the Independent Film Awards. It's sold out in the day, just like the Water Machine, but tickets to see it sold out in the day. And this is Mikki Willis, who did Plandemic and The Great Awakening, which garnered billions of watches on those documentary movies during massive censorship 2021 to 2023, when the Ministry of Truth was unleashed by that Biden administration. and it went around the world. It woke everybody up. He and his wife and his team did this movie with David and Greg Braden. So I'm going to leave it there and let you guys tell and share what it's about and
Yep.
why we think what I've been saying for a year and a half, LifeWave is about to be a household name on the planet. With
Yeah, truly, truly. It is about David. So it's about LifeWave only from the standpoint that's about David. And when David never, he said, when he met and was introduced to Mikki Willis, Mikki said, "I'm not doing a commercial." And David said, "I don't want you to do a commercial." We don't want to do a commercial. It's not about that. It's about David as an inventor. It's his story, his journey, and it has validation from some of the very, very top in biohacking scientists that most people will recognize as you go through this film for validation and credibility. And that's what it's about. It's about innovation. It's about changing the world. It's about creating something really powerful. And so it's a beautiful film. I think it will win. We're going to the Beverly Hills Film Festival. I do believe it's going to win awards. And
And the platforms that it's supposed to be going to, we hear Netflix. We're not, I'm not 100% sure on all those, but when you start hearing about the platforms that it's going to be released on, again, it's just that efficacy of this company and the business opportunity for this. Again, I go to the business instantly, but it is such an opportunity for people to at least take a look at it. That's what I tell people. I go, you got to at least look at it.
yeah.
You're going to kick yourself if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, we're already slated for this summer for three of the top streaming platforms, and I think the other streaming platforms are nuts if you don't pick
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, Rob Longascari had said publicly we're allowed to say at this moment in time it's Apple TV, Amazon Prime, and Netflix,
And Netflix.
right?
Yep.
And the totality of those subscriber levels based on right now today is 370 million subscribers. And the movie will be translated into multiple languages. So what you're going to basically see is this incredible documentary style film about the most prolific inventor walking and breathing as a man right now in America. And I equate it to if you had a Nikola Tesla who is still alive, and there was a movie about his path to gift to the world enlightened inventions which help your community, help your family, help you, why wouldn't you watch it, right? And that's to me the same level that we're at right now with David and his intellect in our premise. And it's
Yeah.
truly freaking remarkable. So I will play later, right at the end here, the William Shatner video, because since we're just talking about Hollywood, we got to pull in the Canadian William Shatner, Captain Kirk, because everybody loves the video. I just heard he might be doing one or two more with the
Yeah.
company.
Slated to do
He
two
is?
more. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it was such a great response. I just want to say something about David personally too, because we were blessed to come into this company at a time when it was small enough to be able to have a personal relationship, to really get to know who he is as a person, and he is so humble, genuine, faith-based Christian. Like, this man is not the type of man who wants something about himself because of ego. The reason I think they chose to do this is because the world needed to know there were things like this. It adds such a piece of credibility to it. I mean, think about it. We talk to friends and family. Friends and family, they don't always believe you. They're like, "Oh, you own a hair salon and you own a bar. Why would I believe you about something like this?" Right? So this really adds a credibility piece for people that, David Israel, what we are doing is real, and it's impactful, and it changes lives. And the beauty of it is you will never, ever, ever hear David take credit for his work. He will always give credit to God, and he will always give credit to all of us in the field as his partners and his brand partners. That it is because people like you, Brad, people like your team, ours, go out and they genuinely share from the heart. And that has allowed him to continue to develop more and more and better technologies, as well as humanitarian, an entire fleet of drones that can break records and, get into places no place else can go for humanitarian relief. I mean, we've really been blessed to be a part of this journey.
100%. 100%. Captain Kirk's the spokesperson right now. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So from the business side, everybody, if you're recapping right now and you're hearing this for the first time, the place to get started with and what to get started with is X39, bar none. That's what you want to do. More energy, better sleep. Most people are one patch wonders. Others in a few weeks or a few months, depends on the toxicity of the environment, both in our bodies and then around where we live. We have lots of studies that we can share, and everything is right there. So that's $99 a month with the 30% off that I can give you all right now around the world, right? And you got a 100% guarantee. Below, you'll see another link that has the more video proof and evidence to that, the X39, as well as some of the other patch technology. And below that link, you will see one for partner. And that will allow you, if you choose to be a brand partner, so you get the best wholesale pricing, plus that allows you to be on the wait list. And there's instructions for that for the X20 Water Machine, which is the game changer on the planet for new era of hydration. Yeah, amazing. Anything else you guys would like to add before we go to the Shatner video? Because I really appreciate your time. It's amazing to watch. How long have you been married for? We're celebrating this year.
Oh gosh, we're gonna forget, I bet. 36, 37.
That's great. She looks at you for confirmation.
I don't know.
Everyone's off the hook.
Yeah, we've already experienced this.
Years together. I know that.
We've experienced it.
38.
Many restaurants, we'll go out for anniversary and they're like, "Oh, which one is it?" And both of us are like, "Oh."
Yeah. Let's ask Rock. Rock, what did we ask you last year? What was your answer? No, that's cool. No, just to be together, still here, and continue to look younger because you're living younger with this. This company is amazing. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody. And remember, if you have any questions for our team, everyone, rate on the liveyounger.com. Buddha, you can email, phone call, and we're all here for you. We want to help 1 billion people on the planet with this. Call up.
I've lived a long life. I've done a lot of things, but I've never been an intern.
I'm the founder, sure, but I'm also an inventor. My latest experiment? Hire William Shatner, but as an intern. No way I can afford that guy full time.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm going to be your trainer for today.
Hi, Alicia. Hi, Alicia.
William Shatner?
Yeah, well, you can call me Bill. Or intern. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's just fine. Today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of our Welcome Center.
I hear they have something like a captain's bridge in the Welcome Center. Feels like you're traveling through space.
I have an award-winning production designer.
This I gotta see.
For decades. And hey, Bill.
No, please, no sci-fi today. I'm just here as an intern, that's it. I just beamed in. Yeah, I know that look. I get that look whenever I sneak around, and you're sneaking. Go away. I'm busy. Jackpot. You didn't see a thing. People gotta see this.
Bill! Who let you in here?
He let me in here.
Bill? Captain?
Oh, you gotta get out here. The old intern who looks an awful lot like me, he's messing things up.
But wait, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a sci-fi thing. Come on.
Oh, excuse me. David, was that?
Is that in budget?
Oh,
Here you are. Come on. Back to the group.
people gotta see this.
I know. It's a part of the tour.
Oh,
Yeah.
are you ready for me? Doug. Bill? Doug? Bill! Doug! Bill! For goodness.
Do you know Doug?
Do I know Doug? Star Trek designer on props and sets and the spaceships and this?
Came out beautifully, huh?
Oh, Doug is...
Hey, Bill.
Oh,
One of your clones said you're causing trouble.
you're taking the word of a clone?
Personally, I always go with the original.
That's a good idea.
I have a question. Are you really going to be an intern here?
But, yeah, why not? But first, I gotta tell you about the Welcome Center here at the LifeWave offices.
Okay, this is a commercial. Got it.
No. It's a kinda soft sell. No, just a simple suggestion, really. Copy this QR code to learn about LifeWave, its products, and their amazing welcome center, and that's it. I had a great time experiencing their amazing life-changing technology and learning about the opportunities surrounding one of the fastest-growing companies on the planet, and you will too. So check them out, and just tell them Bill sent you, the real Bill, not that sci-fi clone. Oh, okay. Hey, duty calls. Back to interning. Bye-bye.